Boker Tov Yeladim.
Shalom, Rabbi. That's left doing fake voice.
Oh, Miss Lever Baloney.
How are you, Rabbi?
Morning, everybody. Everybody turn on the cameras. All right, let's see. Boker Tov, Lara Land. Miss Sally Mae is with us this morning. We got Vicky, J&J. All right, and Sinclair Land. All right, it's Manjaris Day. Did you guys do it yet this week?
Nope.
All right, so Mia's gonna pray. Manjaris Land is gonna do the Shema, and Lev's gonna do the 10 Commandments in English.
Okay. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for letting us have another life. Thank you for letting us wake up. Thank you that we are allowed to have an education. Please, Lord, I ask you that you would help us to pay attention to class today. That you would open our minds so that we can understand the lesson, and that we can not just listen with our ears but also with our hearts, so we can also learn something. In Yeshua's name, Amen. Shema Israel, Yehovah Eloheinu, Yehovah Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malkuto, Le'olam Vayen. Hear Israel, the Lord our God is one God. English commandments.
I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Do not make any idols in front of my face. Do not misuse the name of the Lord in vain. Keep the Shabbat holy. Honor your mother and father. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not lie. And do not covet.
All righty, good job there, Lever Baloney. Everybody give Lever Baloney a big hand. Oh, give a big hand to her wet head. Wet head. All righty. Let's see who we got here today. Okay, all right. Let's have Marley read verse Vayikra 7, verse 11 and 12. 11 and 12.
Okay. This is the law for sacrificing peace offerings offered to Adonai. If a person offers it for giving thanks, he is to offer it with the thanksgiving sacrifice of unleavened cakes, mixed with olive oil, matzah or wafer, spread with olive oil, and cakes made of fine flour mixed with olive oil and fried.
All right, thank you, Marley. All right, really, before you can do any offerings, we have to talk about making peace. What does it mean to make peace with somebody? Let's see. Yeshua, what does it mean to make peace with somebody?
To hug, to be kind to one another.
To hug, to be kind to one another. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Jeremiah, what does it mean to make peace with somebody? And why would you? What's the opposite of peace, Jeremiah?
The opposite of peace is like
to be mean with them.
Is like to be mean, this kind.
Yeah, Jacob, let him answer so I know what he's talking about, not repeating what you're saying. Say it again, Jeremiah, and say it a little louder.
The opposite of peace is like being like mean and be and not like not sharing and and not like letting people play with if like you're playing with somebody and they ask you and then you say no and they don't let you play with they don't let you play with them out and then it will hurt your feelings by not letting them play with you.
Okay, so why wouldn't you want somebody to play with you? Or why wouldn't they want you to play with them?
Then the person who they did not let them play with then the person who they play with now the person who did not play with the person I think might not let the other person play with them.
Okay. All right, let's go over the Riet. Let's see if we can get some more definition. What would be the opposite of peace, and why would you be like that?
Well, the opposite of peace is envy and hate. But why a person could be like that, maybe they just had a bad day, or they just don't like, maybe they just want to be mean.
Maybe they just want to be mean. Something like somebody wants to do, just like be a mean person.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes somebody can be a bully.
Okay. All right. Lev's raising her hand. Lev, what would be the opposite of peace?
The opposite of peace would be quarreling, and I have an example to say about peace. So let's say you are living in a neighborhood, and of course everyone lives in a neighborhood because
Unless you're Rock Will, he's got his own neighborhood.
all to himself. So let's say you're living in a house, and all the other people in the neighborhood that you're living in are like having like the children are like dying and like some sicknesses are happening, but you're like you're you're living in peace because you're not having like those things happening to you and God's protecting you. Just like how David's house when he sinned, he his children his first child died. No, his first child was Bathsheba. Yeah.
Okay, that was good. The house died because you were at war. Let's see, Marley. Marley, what is the opposite of peace?
Well, war, like making peace, like with other nations, is one thing to describe it. Well, David didn't really want to do any war unless he had to. King David. He didn't want to make any war. He just wanted to make peace.
Okay, so, okay, why would he what explain to me about war? Why would somebody be at war?
Well, they might have vengeance or anger against the other person or nation. And sometimes they do it just for fun. And yeah.
You do war just for fun?
Mm.
How would that be fun?
Maybe they like to do it, like to win, unless they don't win.
Don't people die in war?
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're doing it for fun?
Yeah, because you don't think about the common person, common soldier.
Mm.
Is that a thing talking?
Mm.
Well, if you're gonna talk thing, lift up your head so everybody can see you.
Sorry.
So what did you say, thing one?
Well, they don't see the common soldier as a they just don't see what the common soldier deals with. They
What do
don't
you
care
mean
about the
they don't?
common soldier.
What do you mean?
Common soldier could die in battle, after all.
Isn't it gonna hurt when he dies?
Yeah.
Obviously. It'll hurt.
And they don't care about that?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's human suffering for the fun of war.
And people like to go to war, Adrian?
Not everyone, but some do.
Some do. Let's see. Jacob, what's the opposite of peace?
The opposite of peace would be like a conflict or like noisy. Cause like a conflict, for example, let's say you you're in a neighborhood and there's these fights going on and everywhere. It's like kind of like a noisy place to live. It would be like a conflict everywhere. It's like here, then there. There would be like one conflict over there, like someone not letting someone play. Another one over there, someone like bullying someone. It would be like not peace. It would be like noisy.
When there's no peace, it's noisy.
Yeah, and it's like a
When you guys are playing outside during Shabbat for a little while, when you lost some steam, you guys are kind of noisy. Are you in conflict?
No, because there's two types of peace. There's two types of there's two types of antonyms of peace. Like for example, conflict would be like a problem. It wouldn't be unpeaceful. It would be like problems everywhere. It would be like fights and like everybody like sinning. And there's another type of unpeace. It would be like it's like um how do I say it? Like noisy, distracting, and like cause you can't focus.
Noisy, distracting, you can't focus. So this is like the opposite of peace, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's noisy, distracting, and you can't focus. Let's see about Victoria. Victoria, what do you think is the opposite of peace?
I think the opposite of peace is like when someone wants to make the someone else unpleased, like to make them not happy, because peace is like when you want to work with someone else like happy and not argue and fight. So the opposite of peace would be when you want to unplease someone and make them like
Displeased. Not unpleased, is the word is displeased.
displeased. Yeah, so that. And also when you want to make them like you're distracting them, like what Jacob said, because you're making them like worry about something or something like that. So then they get like they're not happy, so it's like that.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, the reason we're talking about this, the opposite of peace, because it said this is a law for sacrificing peace offerings offered to Jehovah. If a person offers it for giving thanks, he's offered with the thanksgiving sacrifice of unleavened cakes with olive oil, matzah wafers, spread with olive oil, and cakes made with fine flour mixed with olive oil and fried. Okay, so the last one is sufganiyot. It's a donut. But what we're talking about is making a peace offering because people are at war with God. People are at war with God. Let's see. Let's go back to Yeshua. Yeshua, how could you be at war with God? Start thinking about this, teenagers. I'm going to come to you guys later. Yeshua, how can you be at war with God?
By fighting, listening,
You can fight with God?
listening, by not listening
Not listening to what?
to God.
How do you not listen to God?
You disobey.
How do you disobey?
Like you dishonor your mother and father.
Do what to your mother and father?
You dishonor.
How do you dishonor your mother and father? You go like this to your mother and father?
Yeah, and sometimes covering your ears. And sometimes when your mom and dad are reading, they go like this. They go, they're not listening to the story.
Okay.
They don't want to listen.
That's good. Very good, Yeshua. All right, let's see. Jeremiah, how can you be at war with God?
By going to a war, by going to a war and you don't and you're versing a country and you're and it
Oh, listen. How can you, Jeremiah, the bullfrog, how can you be at war with God, little man?
by not listening.
Well, what do you mean by not listening? That's like a general answer. Like, when in doubt, say Moses, Yeshua, or Torah. I'm going to come to you, Jacob. I'm going to go to the young kids first, and that's how I do it. How do you not listen to God?
By not following his commandments.
Well, name me something that you could be at war with, you little Jeremiah man.
Wait, you mean like which country?
No, with God. How can you be at war with Yeshua, Messiah? How can you be at war with his father, our father, Avinu, Jehovah? How can you be at war? You're a little person. You're going to shoot God? You're going to go to God, to Jehovah? No, how can you make war with God though?
You don't know, so you don't know. I do not know.
You do not know. All right, let's go to another little person. Riet. How can you be at war with God? Are you at war with God?
Well, I doubt it.
You doubt it.
But how? Well, a way to be in war with God can be like if you sin constantly and ask Him to forgive you. If you do false, if you lie, if you cheat, you steal, commit adultery and murder. They're it's not good to be in a fight with God, because that proves that you're definitely not going to go to heaven.
Okay. So mom has not yelled at you once over the last month?
No, she has yelled at me.
She yelled at you?
How many times?
Well, last month, yeah, I think it was twice or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that's probably.
Adrian's throwing you under the bus.
No.
Don't worry. Don't
He's
worry.
the perfect child in the family.
Don't worry, Adrian. We'll get to you.
Yeah, okay. Well, Mommy yelled at you. Let me think. It's over 1,000.
A lot of
No.
times.
Okay. So mom had to yell at you, Riette. So that means you are at war with God.
Mm.
Was it fun getting yelled at? Did you like this is cool?
No.
No? You don't like getting yelled at?
Yeah, I don't like it.
You don't like getting punished?
I don't like it.
Yeah. No, you don't think it's fun? What about you, Marley?
I do not like it when she gets mad.
Why would mom get mad at you? Like what did you do to get one example of mom getting mad at you? What were you doing that mom had to go, Marley?
My secret hasn't been revealed. Sometimes I just get out, like, away from my table where I have to do schoolwork and do something else. Desk.
Because you were bored with the schoolwork?
Mm-hmm.
You just wanted to go see what was outside?
Yes, and she makes me sit down.
Yeah, she wants you to do schoolwork because you're way behind in math.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I am Mr. Adrian. Adrian, come close so everybody can see you. How are you at war with God, Mr. Perfect Child?
Well, I know I'm not perfect.
No, you're kinda in war with Mommy too, because I know what's going on. Yep.
Your sisters are going to throw you under the bus, and then they're going to run you over, and then they're going to put it in reverse and back up over you again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for one, while it's getting a lot better now, I didn't really do my chores much.
Oh.
I mean, I am starting.
Why didn't you do your chores? Why were you at war with God? Do you like getting yelled at?
Yeah, he only does it when he's told to do it.
No, but I do my chores without being told sometimes.
Not always.
Your sister says, I got 2 witnesses. You are guilty.
And
At least I'm trying to work on it.
Yeah, and
At least I'm
Adrian,
trying to work on it. That's
there's
what Satan says. At least I'm trying to work on it, God.
there's another little problem that I'm sure Adrian wouldn't want me to explain.
Don't do it then. No gossip.
Please.
do it.
What we're trying to do is I want you guys to see how you are at war with God. Okay? And war with God means that you're not going to get into his house when you leave this life. So if you're at war when you're this age, imagine when you get to be older. You know, like your dad and your mom and your aunts and uncles maybe and grandparents. They're not doing what God wants. They're going to be laying on the floor in hell on a bed of maggots. In Revelation it says you get to have a bed filled with maggots in heaven. No, you're not in heaven. You're in hell. Because God doesn't want you in heaven. So you get to have a lay on a bed of maggots. So when you're sleeping, the maggots are crawling in your ears, they're crawling up your nose, they're crawling between your toes, they're crawling in your mouth, and you're like, ugh, but you're so tired. God said, "'Cause you were at war with me. I won the war." Okay. Now let's see. Let's go to another one. Let's see if we can hear Carlos. Carlos, can we hear you today? Mute Sinclair's.
Oh.
We can't hear the Carlos man. No microphone. Okay, let's go over to Jacob. Jacob, how are you at war with God?
You could be at war with God like in many different ways. Like
How are you at war?
How
are you, Mr. Jacob? I got my hair combed this morning.
You can be at war with God by not following His 10 Commandments. Like, for example, if you steal somebody's toy that doesn't belong to you, and your friend's trying to look for that toy, and they can't find it, and they ask you, "Where's my toy?" They be like, you lie by saying, "Oh no, I never saw it. I didn't even saw it." So you're stealing and lying. So you're doing like not following 2 commandments at once, and then like God in some way will punish you for not obeying His commandments.
Okay, are you at war with God in any ways? Did you ever steal a toy or do something like that?
No,
Did you guys used to eat pork?
no,
No, you never ate pork? No bacon? No Taylor ham? No
No.
Cuban sandwiches?
nope.
What country's your dad from? What's his background?
Guatemala.
He's Guatemalan? Mr. Oscar's stuck in Guatemala right now. He's gonna stay there another 2 more weeks. Dad's Guatemala. What's your last name?
Cancinos.
Cancino? I can't see no. All right. So, Mr. Cancino, did Mom have to yell at you at all this week?
A little.
Oh, little. Why were you at war with your mother?
There's too much homework. That's why.
But it's summer.
I
You're
wanna
gonna
do
say, no,
it."
it's summer, man. So you just want to go outside and play?
Yeah. I just want to do that.
You heard all the kids in the neighborhood all screaming and things like that. You were like, Ma. So you were like, Ma, this is stupid, Ma. I have to go to school all year long. It's summer, Ma.
I got a big packet.
So you were at war with Mom. That means you're at war with God. Did you win or did you lose?
Lose.
You lose. So you like going to war with Mom?
No.
Okay. What about? Okay, let's go over to who haven't I spoken to yet? Vicky, Victoria. Are you at war with God, Victoria?
I think so.
You think so? What do you mean you think
Yeah,
so?
because my mom yelled at me today.
Oh, so you are at war with God, huh?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be at war? What's so fun about being at war?
It's not fun, but I just wasn't getting up today, so then she yelled at me.
Well, what? Did you go to bed late or something?
Yes.
What time did you go to bed?
I think 11.
Wow, that's really late, huh?
Yeah.
Just like, I just want to sleep. I want to get my beauty rest.
That's what my brother says. He told me that yesterday.
And you just wanted to sleep. You just want to say 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes, Ma.
Yeah, but then I had to get up.
So Mom had to yell at you?
Yeah.
So was that fun getting yelled at?
No.
Are you at war with God?
I don't want to be, but I guess, like, because if my mom yelled at me, then I guess like God isn't happy. So if my mom keeps yelling at me, then I'm probably am gonna be at war with him.
So do you think you can win a war with God?
No, but just like not like try not to make my mom yell, and then like he'll forgive me.
Now, in the last week, did Mom ever yell at you during the last week, except for today?
Not that I remember.
Now that you
I
remember.
don't think so.
Okay, in the last 2 weeks, did Mom ever yell at you besides today?
Yes.
So why do you keep going to war with God?
Well, it's like because the last 2 weeks I was doing something for her, and then she told me that it wasn't that way. So then she kind of yelled at me. But it's not that I want to. It's just like it's kind of like an accident.
It's an accident, but you were shown.
I don't know.
I don't know. Right. All right, Jeremiah's got his hand up, and then I'm going to go to Allie Mae and see how she's at war with God.
I got one, Rabbi. By going to war with God because by worshiping other idols.
How do you worship other idols there, Mr. Jeremiah? You worship video games?
No, I pray to other idols or praise them.
Do you like video games? What's your favorite video game?
Super Mario.
Super Mario. How often do you play Super Mario?
Not that much. Like 1 day a week.
If you could play it 7 days a week, would you play Super Mario 7 days a week? If you could play it like 5 hours a day, would you play Super Mario 5 hours a day? If you could play it like 8 hours a day, would you play Super Mario 8 hours a day? Sit there and throw your bombs and Mario and go through the drain pipes and ding 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 ding.
But what if it dies?
Well, don't you get to reset the game?
No, you gotta charge it. It doesn't take that long.
But if you could play Super Mario every single day, would you do it?
Yes.
Would you play Super Mario every single day for as long as that battery lasts on the Super Mario thing?
So I think
If you could read the Bible every single day for as long as you could, would you do that every day?
yes.
No.
I will do Super Mario and the Bible every day.
You would do Super Mario
And
and the Bible every day, those two things? Those would be your two gods? You'd want to do something every single day. Isn't that a God?
yes, yes.
Isn't that a God? Isn't that a God? You could play Super Mario every single day. You can hear the music in your sleep, right? Can you sing me the Super Mario song? Can you hum the? How's that? How's the Super Mario music go?
I don't.
Hi, I'm Mario.
I do not remember how it does it go.
You don't know how the music to Super Mario goes?
No, only if I had my Nintendo, I could hear.
Miss Consuelo is singing the song. Adrian, sing the song, the Super Mario. Come on, Jeremiah, you know the song. All right, that's enough Mario. So Jeremiah, that is your God. You're at war with Jehovah because you said you can play Super Mario for 2 hours, 3 hours, but you don't read the Bible for 2 or 3 hours.
I can read play Super Mario for 3 hours until it dies, and then I'll go read the Bible for 8 hours.
Okay, let's see if you do that. Let's see if you can read the Bible for 1 hour all by yourself. Read it straight, and Jacob's gonna test you to see if you can read the Bible for 1 hour straight.
Okay.
Wait, you just did the Benjamin. Yes, Jeremiah.
Wait, now or later?
Well, after class, I want you to say, Mom, I have to read the Bible for 1 hour straight.
That is homework. Extra.
That's it.
Extra.
I'm going to text Mom and tell her you have to read the Bible for 1 hour straight. Read it out loud for 1 hour straight. You're going to be like, I can't do this. How long is it? You're going to say to Jacob, how long has it been? And Jacob's going to say, it's like 10 minutes. You're going to go like, no, I can't do it for another 50 more minutes. Because Super Mario is your God, and you're at war with God. Yes, Jacob. Could you
Which books of the Bible?
Huh?
Which books of the Bible does he have to read?
I want you to read the Gospel of Matthew, starting with chapter 5.
Oh, okay. I was reading that before.
Okay. So I want you to read Matthew 5.
Rabbi,
Yes, Jeremiah.
I wanted to read the Joshua.
Okay, you can read Joshua, whichever one you want, but for 1 hour to see if you could do it. See if you're at war like Allie is at war with God. Allie, how are you at war with God? Mute J&J. There you go. Do you like video games, Miss Allie Mae?
I do.
Do you have any video games?
Yes.
Do you have an Xbox, an E-box, an F-box, a J-box, whatever
No.
they're called? Huh?
No.
You have good. Where do you play video games?
On my DS.
Oh, you have a Nintendo DS?
Mhm.
What games do you have?
I have Pokemon.
Pokemon. That's old school.
Mhm. I only play some of the old school games.
You like Pac-Man?
Mostly old school games. I used to play some Pac-Man.
Donkey
Came on the
Kong?
computer.
Donkey Kong?
Yeah. Mhm.
I used to like Pole Position. That's the only game I liked. Doot, 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 doot. So can you play Pokemon for hours?
No, I can't
No?
play for hours because then I get bored of it.
Can you go swimming for hours?
Yes.
Like swimming like for 3 or 4 hours?
Yes.
Jumping out of the water, jumping back into the pool, doing cannonballs.
Jumping off the diving board.
Oh, isn't that fun, right?
Mhm.
It's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Could you read the Bible for a couple hours?
No.
It's not fun.
It is fun, but I can't do it for a couple hours
Why not?
because
Cause what? Cause
Because it's hard. It's hard to just sit there and read like that.
Well, Mia's reading like the Rats of Nim. She can sit there for hours and read the Rats of Nim.
I know I can sit there and read other books, but it's just hard to sit there and read the Bible. It's kind of difficult for me.
Reading the Gospels of Messiah is difficult to read. It's great reading. It's better than the Rats of Nim. Reading Kings and Chronicles, seeing war and people being all bad, and read the book of Judges and see that all the weird things that went on. Reading Genesis from the beginning, how God created everything. That's not interesting.
I mean, that part's interesting. That's one of my favorite books of the Bible.
Revelation, when all the war and God going to war with the devil and a quarter of the world population dying and the seals being opened and the shofars being blown and the bowls being That's not interesting.
It kind of is, I guess.
It kind of is. It's going to be happening in your lifetime. So you're at war with God, are you?
I guess.
I guess. Do you think you're going to win?
Probably not.
Probably not. The odds are not good, right? Has anybody ever beaten God?
No.
So you think you're better than everybody else, do you?
No. I don't think I'm better than everybody else.
Then why are you at war with God? If nobody's ever won?
I don't know.
Did Mom yell at you this week? Did Mom say, Allie Mae Randall? I can just hear your mother's voice. Huh?
I I
Did,
don't know.
did she use your full name this week or last week?
She didn't use my full name.
So she used half of your name? She just said Allie? Or she said Allie Mae?
I think she said Allie Mae.
So you were at war with Mom and you're at war with God.
So what it is when I get in trouble, most of the time it's Allie Mae. But when I get in really big trouble, it's Allison Mae. Is what Mom said.
Oh, when she says Allison Mae. So did she use Allison Mae at all over the last 2 or 3 weeks?
She said probably.
She said probably. Yeah, I see the big Cheshire cat smile there. So why are you at war with God, Allison Mae?
I don't know.
Do you think you're smarter than any other person that's ever lived on the planet before you?
No.
Because you're a millennial?
No.
Then why are you at war with God? Because I'm a teenager. I'm supposed to be at war
I
with
don't
God.
know.
You don't know. Okay. Let's go over to Ariel. Ariel, you thought you got away from me talking to you today, did you? No, no. Ariel, are you at war with God?
Maybe.
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 Tiffany just threw you under the bus and backed over a few times. Lila, are you at war with God, Lila?
Are you a war? You're not good?
Lila, Lila, I know you're there, Lila. I can see you, Lila, Miss Lila. I see Miss Lila. I see you. God knows you're in there. Ariel, are you at war with God? Did moms say, Ariel?
I could be.
You could be.
Could.
Why are you at war with God, Ariel?
Throw you under the bus.
Lila just threw you under the bus.
Now you're trying to run him over.
Lila's like putting it in fourth gear and she's, taking the tractor trailer and running you over, man.
She's looking at you too.
Why are you at war with God?
Not sure.
Are you like Allison May?
Maybe.
You think you know everything?
Maybe.
You think you know? Well, then you guys should get married one day.
Okay.
Because then you'll be the house that knows everything. Because Allison May said she knows everything. Lila's throwing you under the bus. Ariel, shouldn't you know better? You're like 16 years or 17 years old.
17, but I could know better.
He finally grew his first brain cell.
He finally did what?
He finally grew his first brain cell.
Oh, now they're 17. Okay, Miss Tiffany, Miss Wise One.
I'm not one. Okay.
He just threw you under the bus. He just said.
He tries to throw me under the bus because he knows he's always in the wrong.
Oh, you're always in the right?
I'm not always in the right. I get my mother involved, and then I'm always in the right.
Did mom yell at you this week?
No.
Never?
No, she didn't yell at me this week.
This week? What about weeks gone by?
No, she didn't. She didn't yell at me. Like she didn't yell at me this month or last month.
For 2 months, mom didn't yell at you?
No, she didn't. I have my mother right here.
Ariel, did mom yell at her?
I don't remember. I tend to doze off.
Lila, hush. Okay. Now, why are we talking about this, guys? Okay, the reason we're talking about this because one of the first thing you have to do before you can do any of the other offerings is you got to make peace with God. And you can't just keep saying, I'm sorry. You have to change your ways. Because sooner or later, God's going to give you the biggest flippy that you can ever imagine. So God's going to take his gigantic hand and go right in your head. Everybody go. And then he's going to flippy in your nose. Ariel's going to get a flip. And Tiffany's going to get a flippy in the nose. Because Tiffany's just perfect. Shit. Yeah, you said I'm not perfect. Yeah, you're just a perfect child. Okay? Jeremiah's gonna have to get rid of his God Super Mario Brothers. And Yeshua is gonna have to start paying attention. Adrian's gonna have to start doing work without being yelled at 500 times a day. See, your sisters knew that. Adrian, your mother's like, Adrian? 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 You know how many times did mom have to say, Adrian? 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 You know, all day long, all we hear is Adrian, 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 right, Riet and Marley? Yep, they're throwing you under the bus. So the first thing that you guys have to do before we can do any of the other offerings, before we can touch what is holy, is we have to make peace offering. But it's not just the physical peace offering, it's a spiritual peace offering. What is a spiritual peace offering? Mia. I haven't talked to Mia today. The Sanchez lands are at Dorney Park today.
Huh. Okay. Well, I think what it means to make spiritual peace, in other words, spiritual shalom, making a spiritual peace offering, is that first of all to get rid of all the gods that people have, like that somebody has. Like if it's in order for someone to make peace with God and like spiritual peace, spiritual shalom is that that the person has to get rid of all like their gods that they have and like dedicate time to read his word and dedicate time to think about what he or she has read and has to think of and also he or she has to dedicate time to celebrate Shabbat, like truly honor it, like not just to take Shabbat as like a day just to gather with with friends or something. I mean, yeah, it's nice and everything, but the main reason why God put Shabbat was because we had for us to spend time with Him. That's why.
Okay, you want to spend time with him. Okay, look at the definition for peace that we have here. The root word is shalem, means peace offering, requital, sacrifice for alliance or friendship. Let's see if we can figure out what the word alliance is. Jacob, what is an alliance? Jacob, what is an alliance?
An alliance. I think an alliance would be like a thing to get into one. Something. I'm not sure, cause I never heard of the word, but I believe it's like something that gets into one, like an alliance.
Okay, get into one. Allison May, with her, she must be at grandma's or somebody's house there, or your cousin's over. What is an alliance, Allison May?
An alliance is when a group of two people, there are two groups, like they get together and they both fight in the same war, or they both help each other in a way.
They both fight together or help each other. All right, Marley, what is an alliance?
An alliance. I don't know.
I know.
Do tell.
So I have to.
Riette, what is an alliance?
Well, an alliance is like, I do know what it means. It's like if, for example, two people, they're having trouble fighting another nation.
What?
So they.
Two people fighting a nation?
No, like two
Let her
nations.
finish, Adrian.
People, like two nations, and they're having trouble fighting another nation. So, like one of them is having trouble. So then the other decides to form an alliance with that person or to join them and help them, and then they can form a group, and then they can try to defeat the other nation. But it's basically like a co-op.
A group.
Well, a group is one thing, but an alliance is different, Adrian. How's it different? What's the difference between a group and an alliance? You were correct, Riette.
I mean, an alliance is generally between nations, and it's an agreement, I believe, to work together towards one goal, perhaps. Or you have defensive alliances that their purpose is if one gets attacked, the others will join in and declare war on that person or nation.
Hey, since we're coming up to the 4th of July, did the colonists have an alliance with anybody?
Yes,
With who?
they had
Poland?
one with the French.
The
And
French. The French?
yeah,
Why would we have an alliance with the French? They always lose wars.
the Revolutionary War. The
You sure?
French joined the American side, and then Spain did too.
Spain joined with France? The colonists?
Yeah, American Revolution. You're talking about the American Revolution, right?
Well, that's why I asked about it, since it's 4th of July coming up.
Yeah.
Who are we fighting against?
They were fighting against the British, who were trying to put massive taxes on them.
Did the British have an alliance with anybody?
I mean, the British had Canada and the land, the west of the colonies. So they were kind of outnumbered.
Who was outnumbered?
Britain at the time had many outposts or colonies that they controlled. They had the American colonies before they rebelled. They had Canada. They had India, Australia, a lot of Africa. And that's why the saying was that the sun never sets on the British Empire.
So do you have any alliances, Adrian?
I mean, if you're talking about games, then yes, I do have an alliance I set up. I have a couple people in there.
Do you have any other alliances outside of the game world?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I really don't.
Let's see. Last minute. Vicky, do you have any alliances?
No.
Okay. Jacob and Jeremiah, do you guys have any alliances?
I believe we have some alliances.
You and your brother? What about you?
My brother has one. He sometimes plays with his friends, and they both like team up to fight against other friends that are chasing him. They're chasing him. Me, sometimes team up with my soccer team to fight another soccer team.
Let's see. Lev, do you have any alliances?
Do you have any alliances, Levy? You sure? God.
There you go. I have an alliance with Elohim, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. That's what the peace offering's all about, making an alliance, friendship with Elohim, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. All right, you chickens, it's time to close our class. Let's see if we close our class. Who shall we close our class with? All right, Hadassah, you gonna pray loud enough so we can hear you? Okay, go ahead, Hadassah.
Thank you, Lord, for this day. So please help us and learn the Torah. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, that was quick. All right, Miss Hadassah, you guys have a great day. Shalom, chickens.
Shalom.